Okay, a very good evening to each one of you. Thank you for joining us. It's now exactly 1800 hours on this beautiful evening. We'd like to use opportunity to welcome each one of you to our first exam training session. And it's that time of the year where you start preparing for the examination. And I know many of you are thinking time went so fast and we are now already embracing the exams. And part of this is to really prepare you for the upcoming exams, specifically the online exams. And some of you might be new to UNISA, and this is why we are running this training. So once again, welcome to each one of you. I see many are slowly joining us, so we will also try to give them some time to join. But let me start by also welcoming some of our colleagues that are joining us tonight. We have the EDOV team that is facilitating. We have the colleagues from the Invigilator app section as well that are joining us. We have digital learning advisors, regional staff that are joining us, and they've all taken the time this evening to join to give you the support that you need as you get into the exam period. I know it's one of the most stressful times, and I remember when we talk to a lot of students, they say that in addition to writing exams, they got family commitments, job, and we know life also happens for many of us. So it's really a stressful period, but we're going to try to suit you into this examination by preparing you to actually sit for the examination in terms of navigating the online platform, understanding what the proctoring tools are all about, understanding a little bit about academic integrity. So it's really trying to get the stress off from the basic things before you start preparing yourself for the content of your subject modules itself. We've got a good program up and running for you tonight. We have the first section, which is going to be on accessing the open myExams. We have accessing your exams on the myExams portal. If you don't know what the myExams portal is, stay connected with us. We're going to unpack that a little bit for you. We're also going to touch a little bit about briefly on the exam types, MCQ quizzes, academic integrity, the proctoring tools, required devices, mock exams, student support, contact centers, support for staff, support for students with special needs. And then you will also find on your chat, you have what we call a Q&A session. So for those that have used Teams before and have done any of our training before, you find that this is slightly different. So please familiarize yourself with the functions on this particular live Teams event channel. You'll find you have a Q&A chat. Now on that Q&A chat, you are able to post your questions, and we have a group of colleagues who are manning the chat for us. So they basically will respond to the chat and you will find the questions published. Now we know that some of these questions that are asked are also questions that are relevant to many of you. So for example, if it's about how do I know what proctoring tool is used for my exams, we will discuss that, but we will also publish the questions. So as you're scrolling to the question section, have a look at some of the questions that are being raised, because you might find that these are also relevant to you in that space. So let us get into the program. I know it's already evening and some of you are tired, but the reason why we are having these sessions in the evening and in the mornings is precisely because we want to cater for the different profiles of our students that we have. We know that some are working and only get home towards the afternoon, and then there are some during the day. So we try to cater these trainings for all of you so that you can really benefit out of it. Now, you will also find that in the RSVP, we also uploaded a few of other dates. So if you find that you have load shedding and in the middle of this you skip out, it's not a problem. Just RSVP for any of the other sessions that we have, and you can come back and join. You are free to join the sessions as many times as you want. The main purpose is to get you the skills, get you the knowledge to ease you into the exams itself. You will also find that we have what we call student blast sessions on your RSVP, right? So student blast sessions are there precisely to give you that opportunity for you to call into the blast session, and you will have a facilitator who will then be able to answer your questions. Now, this is quite a nice space for you because we found that many students that attend this training and also attend our student blast sessions find it very easy to navigate the exams. And that's one big stress that's off you. Believe me, if you get into the exam session and you're studying an online platform and you really don't know what's happening in the online platform, and you also need to know the content of your module, it is unnecessary stress. And this is why we really ask students join these sessions. It is one opportunity for you to take out one part of the stress that you have by really familiarizing yourself with the online platform, the proctoring tools, etc. Now, for the blast sessions, please, you will see on the RSVP, get in quickly. As I said, you will have best support, both online on the chat, plus we will open up your microphones for you so you can actually voice some of your concerns as well, and we will try our best to respond to you. So remember, the blast session, we've got one coming up tomorrow. If you don't have the links, anything, please go onto that RSVP link, but I'll also ask Richard to post that link for you for tomorrow as well at the end of the session. Now, let's move on to the program. At this time, I'm going to invite Richard. Richard Wright is an educational specialist in the Academic Development Open Virtual Hub, and he's going to talk to us, or he's going to take us through how do you access the Open myExams support site. And he's also going to tell you a little bit about the baseline assessment that we have, which is a pre-workshop assessment, and the value of it and why we need that done. So with that said, welcome, Richard. Let me hand over to you. Thanks, Richard.
Thank you, Denzel. So good afternoon, everyone. My name is Richard Wright. So I'll be taking you through just to get started, and then I'll see you later as well when we do the proctoring tools. But first, what we can have a look at is the pre-assessment. We've posted the link in the Q&A. Please complete this pre-assessment if you have not done this before. We added to the email as well that went out today for you to join the session. This really helps us just to gain an understanding what is your knowledge before coming into the session, and then we'll do another one to see what good knowledge you gained. So this will highlight areas where we perhaps need to focus on in the future to really prepare the content to best suit you. And then a lot of you may know ADOVH already. We run quite a few student initiatives such as Microsoft 365 training, Minecraft e-tournament. If you want to join, keep up to date with what is happening, to really teach you digital skills for the modern era, please join our Facebook page. We will post a link in the chat as well. Now, to get started, firstly, it's very important. We're going to cover quite a lot of information tonight, and you might want to go back and just go reflect on some of the information, perhaps read through it at a slower pace. Perhaps later, if you've got problems with any of proctoring tools, there's areas where you can go to get the support that you need. So we currently have this myExams open site. The link is in the chat, but for this one, you'll notice it's not completely my modules. It's an open new learning management system that's basically going to focus on student support and for your digital skills. And as mentioned, this is open, so anybody can join the site, but luckily it's very easy for you to log in. You just use your MyLife email address and your myUNISA password. So I'll just quickly show you how to access the site. So once you click on the link, it will open up the isiZwele Solwazi Open Courses platform. You'll notice the URL is adovh.unisa.ac.za. So to log in on this platform, all you need to do is click on login at the top right. It will ask you a prompt to ask if you're a UNISA student or UNISA staff member. So since you are a UNISA student, you will just click on yes. Then it will ask you to sign in with your myUnisa email account. So that is your MyLife account. So you just simply click on the button and then you sign in with your student number at mylife.unisa.ac.za. Click on next. Then you insert your myUnisa password. And then you can click on sign in. So it will ask you if you want to be remembered on this page. Remember, if it's your own device, you can definitely click your do not show again. And yes, if it's not, make sure this is unticked and no, just if you're using a shared device. So once you're logged in, you can go to home. The link will actually take you directly to the course. But if you want to go from the main course page, just look for basic skills for online exams. And if it's the first time that you're going to access it, it will ask you to click on the Enroll Me button. But once you've got access to the site, you are good to go. And all the material that we will be covering tonight is available on this platform. And we will also post the recordings afterwards. So if you do lose connectivity during the sessions, there is a webinar recording section where we will upload the recording to YouTube and then make it available on this page. So you can always come back and watch a webinar again if you missed anything. So please, in this time, make sure that you've got access to the site. A lot of the material that we will be referencing, we will actually direct you to sections on the site so that you can have the links to access, for instance, the mock exams. So you can actually test out the apps. There's also short videos on here that covers every topic. So it's short video clips of 2 to 3 minutes. So if you don't have a lot of data, you can just watch the videos on a specific topic. And we also got the guides, how to set up proctoring tools. All of that information is on this platform. So please make sure you've got access to the site and that you can follow along with this content while we present in this webinar. So thank you, Denzel. I'll hand you over for the next topic.
Thanks very much, Richard. So colleagues, you will find that students, you'll find that Richard has posted the link in the chat on the Q&A session. It's published, so you can access the platform from there. The platform, as you remember, is called Isisele Solwazi, which means the hub of knowledge. It's really a good concept that we explored. It actually means a hole in the crowd where food was stored. And what we basically done was taken this and shaped this learning management system as a portal specifically designed for student training around different elements. And this is one of the elements is preparing you for the myExams portal. So while you are waiting and while you are getting to the session, click on that link and access, and you can follow with us tonight. We now move on to the next session. It's my pleasure to invite Mr. David Alperstad, and he will be talking to us about accessing your exams from the myExams portal, the myExams platform. So thank you very much, David, for joining us. Let me hand over to you. Thanks, David.
All right, good evening, and thank you, Denzel, for the invite. Afternoon, students, or good evening, students. Thank you for joining me. I'm just going to quickly share my screen. Give me 2 seconds. All right, so I've got some slides I'm going to go through, and then I'm going to show you practically how this is all going to work. So if this is your first time, please don't panic. Prepare yourself as best you can. Get over that technology stress, and I think then from there it'll be a much easier task to go through. All right, so what's going to happen is with the myExams portal, and I see the link has now shown, it's popped up. So yes, we'll definitely show you that where it is. Okay, so this is how it works. So on myUnisa, you'll see there's the myExams link, so that's where you're going to go. Once you click on that link, it's going to open the myExams portal. And then you can select your date, and then you'll see the modules will be listed. And when you click on your module, then it's going to take you to a login page. So yes, you are going to start with the myUnisa side, and then you're going to move into the myExams side. So it's a bit of a little process. And just to show you guys, this is how it looks. So if you have joined the session late, don't panic. The session is recorded, and you will be able to review this as well, guys. All right, so there we go. So if you go to Unisa's page, you'll see there's the link, myExams. It's sitting over there. So once you click on it, the portal is going to open. You will see the dates. Now notice it'll only be the 5 dates So basically from today and working forwards by 4 more days. So that's how the system works. So you won't be able to see the end of May, but you will be able to see 4 days in advance. So today plus 4 days, and it'll look something like this. And if you click on any of the dates, then you'll see the exams will pop up like that. So it sort of shows you exactly where you are at. So that's quite important. When you click on your exam, then you see it's going to say to you, okay, you're going to need to log in. So what do you need to do? Simple. Remember, guys, myUNISA. So it's just your student number and your myUNISA password. So there we go. So it's your student number, myUNISA password. You click on login, and then it's going to take you into your myExams portal. Yes, this does look very similar to your myModules that you guys have been doing the whole semester. So yes, it's pretty much exactly the same. The only difference now is it's specifically with the myExam side of things. So for example, so once you've logged in, you'll notice it will say myExams, so not myModules. It will only say myExams. You should see your details here on the right-hand side. That's perfect. Don't worry if you don't see your picture here. Because that you need to upload, hey? And Richard will show you guys how to do that. So make sure you do that as soon as possible, get that out the way. So myExams, there we go. You click on it and then you'll see your module code. You'll click on it and then you'll see it'll say welcome. So exactly like you would normally see with any of your modules. The only difference now, it's specifically talking about the exam side of things. So then you'll see, okay, great, here's your menu. And at the bottom, you'll see there's your options here at the bottom as well. And you should see the exam. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about this element now, how it all looks and the differences between the two different types of exams. Okay, so once you're into the exam side of things, you'll see we've got multiple choice, you've got take-home exam, and then of course you've got your portfolios. Now, in the beginning of your semester, you would have read through your tutorial 101, and I'm sure you've received many announcements as well, indicating what type of assessment or exam that you're going to do. All right, so just look for the icon. That sort of gives you a good idea already that this little icon means multiple choice exams. And so, yes, then you'll know it's just straightforward. Pretty much exactly like you did in your assignments. You might notice the take-home exams, your written exam, again, very much similar to what you've done in your assignments. But of course, now the proctoring comes in, okay? So it's one little element you add in, and then you follow the process. And then, of course, you've got your portfolios that you would have submitted, especially with your signature modules, and you would have probably, or should be almost due for submission, I'm sure. And these ones you won't be submitting on myExams portal. But then the instructions will be very clear to you. They're sitting on the modules site. Okay, so as I said to you, I'm just got a few slides that I'm going to work through, and then I'm going to show you some of the practical application thereof. Okay, so what we're going to do then is, okay, so this is the course that Richard already showed you, and please note this is where everything is sitting. But before I even get to this point, I'm just going to go back one step and show you guys. So first thing is, let's get to UNISA's website. Now we know it's on myUNISA, so you can go directly to it. All right, if you scroll a little bit down there, you'll see there's myExams. So as I said to you, you're going to click on it. It will open. You'll see it opens a separate tab over here. And then, of course, you've got your little menu here. So it's good to know about the essential tips and the contact details. If you don't know where they are, there they are. So just make sure you are aware of this. There you'll see the dates. Of course, now we haven't started with exams yet. So even if I select the 8th of May, I see there's nothing listed yet. But basically, yes, this is where you will find all the modules linking here at the bottom. And when you click on the module, you'll be able to log in using your myUNISA details. So that's very important. Okay, so that's how this all works. Now, students, I know there's quite a few steps and there's slides and everything. And now you're thinking to yourself, how on earth am I going to remember all this? This is why this was created, guys. This site is beautiful. So once you've logged in, as Richard has showed you, take note of all the other free courses. So if you do have some time, do have a look about digital skills, for example, and you can even go and do that one. But now it's exam time, so let's focus on the exam side of things. Okay, so there we go. You click on it. It's going to open the module for you. Just take note on the left-hand side. You've got a nice menu. If you do accidentally close it, it's not a problem. You can simply just click on this little guide to add it back. Okay, so navigating the site, very important. So here we go. That's exactly the first slide that I showed you. There it is, guys. So it is going to be in here. So again, this is your central place. Everything you need is sitting right here. And this is where you must please get online and make sure that you are accessing this as soon as possible. Now, I showed you the steps how to access the My Exam portal. Here they are. So there is a link, or there's a link here at the bottom. Either one, not a problem. If you click on it, it's going to open it, and then it gives you in beautiful detail, step by step by step. So you can't go wrong. It's very nicely done. So there's the UNISA link. You click on it, and then we even put in the images here just to show you guys, okay, that's what you're looking for. Remember, this might be the first time you're doing this, so maybe you're totally new, you've got some stress. Okay, it's fine. But now you've got these steps. Now you can go follow this, and at least you're going to build some nice confidence to say, okay, I understand how this whole process works. All right, so there, for example, there are the dates, the modules at least, sorry, they're the dates, there's the modules. You click on the module, then again, as I said, it's going to say to you, all right, what is your username and your password? So it's just your student number, not my life, just your student number and your myUNISA password. You click on log in, so make sure this is working before your exam, hey? And then, of course, yes, there's your My Exams. You'll click on it. Then you can go to step number 8. It says go select your module. This is just an example. And once it opens, then you'll see, okay, so it's a welcoming page. And then at the bottom of the page, you should see basically what type of exam you'll be writing. But by this stage, you should already know what type of exam you're writing and which proctoring tool you'll be using. So we'll be showing you exactly how to do this step by step by step. But for now, this is just the steps to get to this point. Once you're at this point, now we're still going to show you how the rest of this works. So please do stay online. And if for any reason, if you have load shedding, we are having the recording. It is on the site. So please, the most important thing you can get from this evening, make sure you have this address that's already shared in the chat so that you have access to all this information. All right, so then also, guys, I know step by step can work. Maybe that's why you like it, but we've also got a video. So if you click on the little play button here inside the site itself, you will be able to see the steps. And there we go. I just want to switch off the sound over there. And then it takes you step by step. And Dr. Marais is basically explaining everything to you, exactly what I've showed you this evening already. So definitely, there we go. So this resource, I'm stressing it again. If you follow this, you do your mock exams, you're definitely going to be much more prepared and less stressed in terms of the technology side of things. Now, just to explain to you, so now you work through this lesson, please don't skip any of the lessons. I know you go down here and you start seeing proctoring tools and you get too excited. Now you say, oh, no, I want to do this first. No, please don't do that. And don't jump straight to the mock exam lesson 7.2, please. Work through each lesson because each lesson has got valuable information that you must know about. And if you know this, then you're definitely on the right track. Okay, so once you've completed lesson 1, excellent, you've watched the video, you're comfortable. That's your first phase, getting it there. Then we move on to lesson 2. And this is where we start talking about the assessment types. Now, there are 2 different assessment types. Yes, you might have seen them. They are in your module as you've gone through the semester, your multiple choice and your take-home assessments. But of course, as I indicated a little bit earlier, there is a bit of a tweak to them because now it's an exam, so we're going to have a proctoring tool. So how does this all fit into the whole process? So here we go. So your multiple choice, guys, so you'll see this little icon. So then you know, okay, this is a multiple choice. And then you've got your take home or what we call assignment assessments. So it looks like this. Now, what we're going to do is we are going to show you the mock exam for these so you can go practice them using the proctoring tool so that you can do the whole process and be comfortable with it. So for now, I'm just going to say, OK, these are the 2 assessments that we're going to work through. Now, just to give you more information, here's the conducting your MCQ assessment, and there is your take home. So we're still on lesson number 2. I haven't skipped anything, and then I'm going to click on multiple choice. So let's go see a little bit more about multiple choice. Now, what we're doing is here, guys, we've got all the steps for you to make sure that you can follow this step by step by step so that the entire process, you'll be comfortable with it when you get to your exam. So you're going to open your multiple choice assessment. So it looks like this. Now, of course, this is continuing from lesson number 1. So when we showed you that you've logged in, There's your assessment. Now you're continuing from that point. That's why it's so important not to skip anything. So right, there we go. So multiple choice, great. When I click on it, it's going to tell me some information. So make sure you read through this carefully about the attempts, the date, the time, how much time you've got available. So make sure you do that. Then you're going to click on Attempt Quiz Now. Then you'll see this is going to pop up. See, guys, this is just the steps that we're showing you. You're still going to do this practically. So if you joined a few seconds late, just take note. We've given you the steps and we're still going to do the practical element. You will see this guy popping up here. He's very happy. He's writing an exam. I wish you guys all will be smiling. You do need to tick this little block over here, because once you tick it, then the start attempt button will become enabled. So if you don't tick it, then you can't start the attempt. So very important. You'll tick it, you'll start the attempt, and then scroll down a little bit, and then you'll see the interface is going to open. You'll see it will take some pictures of you as you go along. You've got your navigation, you've got your time remaining. So you basically got the whole interface that you're going to work through. Once you've completed all the questions, then you can click on Finish Attempt. It's over here or over there, either one, it's fine. And then, of course, it will say, do you want to really finish? And then, of course, you're going to say Submit again, and then it will give you a little page saying Submitted. So very much similar to what you've done with your assignments, same process, just a little bit of a tweak with the invigilating tools. Of course, yes, we also have a video for you, exactly the same thing, explaining it step by step, but just in a video format. So that is your multiple choice. Okay, great. So you've worked through this, straightforward, excellent. Now we can move on to take home. Don't panic if I'm going a little bit fast. We are going to show you this practically again and where to do the mock exams as well. And of course, the session is recorded. Okay, so we've done multiple choice. Now we've got take home. This is the written one where you're going to write it out in Microsoft Word. So please make sure you know how to save as a PDF, because most likely you're going to need to submit as a PDF. So take note of that. Okay, so you open the assignment. All right, it'll look like something like this. It's going to pop up. You can have your question paper. You're going to need to download. All right, and then, of course, there we go. We're even telling you, make sure you know how to save as a PDF. So today, if you don't know how, we will show you practically how to save as a PDF. Right, then you will be able to do your questions. You type it up beautifully using Microsoft Word, and then you save it as a PDF in this case. And then, of course, you're going to click on the Add Submission button. So it looks, again, very similar to your assignment. But there are some very important things that you need to take note of over here. The first one, when you get to this submission page, it's going to say, is this your work? So again, you have to tick this little block over here. Very important. Then it's going to say, okay, how many files and what is the maximum file size? So that's also critical, hey? So 50 megabytes and one file. Okay, that's quite huge. Unless you've got lots of images, definitely 50 megabytes shouldn't be a problem. And then you can click on the File button and then go select your file. So that's very important. So once you've selected your file, you should see it popping up over here. Also here is very important is the file types that they're expecting. Now, mostly you might just find it's PDF, and that's why I said to you, before you leave today's session, make sure you know how to save as a PDF, and it's actually very easy to do. So once you've completed this, you've uploaded your file, then you must click on Save Changes. Then the next page is going to pop up. It's going to say submitted for grading. It will be in green. Perfect. Then you know, okay, I'm nearly there. You can still edit your submission. Okay, for example, if you uploaded the wrong file by mistake, and then it says you must delete any existing files. Okay, so make sure then if you do edit, you must just use the delete button to remove it. But practically we'll show you in a few minutes time. So please stay with us. Edit your submission, and then you can resubmit again from there. So just take note, yes, you can still do that, but of course, remember the time limit, hey? You can't take too long. Again, we have the video for you, which means, yes, you can go through everything we've just showed you now, and most likely it'll be Dr. Maria again, or maybe even Richard this time with the video explaining how this process worked. So for my side, guys, I've covered basically the navigation for my exams, and I've looked at the two different types. But again, please do not skip any of these lessons. Work through it step by step by step. And then we are now going to hand back to Dr. Chetty so we can continue with the rest of the important information that we're presenting to you. Back to you, Dr. Chetty.
Thanks very much for that, David. You've actually re-stressed the importance of joining the learning management system, the Adobe platform, and the course content. And you've actually outlined it quite beautifully, the different types of content that they will have, but also the exam types. Now, you students, you will know exactly what exam type you are scheduled for, whether it's an MCQ or a take-home assignment test, etc. Please do go over that section. I think that's quite critical for you. We will also have the colleagues tomorrow in the blast sessions providing some insights on that as well. Now, David did mention something about the proctoring tools, and I know that's the major stress for every student that we talk to. So before we get to the proctoring tools, the question is, why has UNISA even started to initiate the proctoring tools? What is the purpose of it? Is it just to complicate your life as a student? I doubt that. But let's ask Dr. Ingrid Murray, what exactly is going on at UNISA, Dr. Ingrid Murray? Why is UNISA into, why have we went and put in this proctoring tools? Please unpack this for us, Ingrid. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Chetty. And oops, if you can just stop sharing your screen so I can share. Academic integrity is, oops, sorry, let me just find my show and put it in slideshow mode. All right, so academic integrity is a really important part of what we do, and UNISA has had to take some steps to make sure that our reputation and your degree is ring-fenced, is of the highest possible value that we can have. So what is academic integrity? Academic integrity is everything related to universities rests on the core tenet of academic integrity. We can only function in society if society and everyone involved in universities, management, lecturers, researchers, administrators, and students lives the values of academic integrity. If we don't all act with these values, we will lose all credibility. This loss of credibility has a dire consequence for everyone involved. It makes people, including possible employers, distrust that the degree that you as a student has received is worth the paper it is printed on. So what are these values? Honesty is the most fundamental value. It starts with individual action and then embraces the whole community. You can show honesty by being truthful, giving credit for the work other people did, keeping your promises and being factual. Honesty leads to the next value of trust. And trust is being able to rely on the truth of something or someone. Trust is a two-way street. You need to be worthy of other people's trust and then act in a manner to trust other people. You as a student can promote trust by preparing work that is honest, thoughtful, and genuine. You can demonstrate trust by acting with genuineness, promoting transparency, and encouraging mutual understanding. The next value is fairness, showing impartial treatment and a lack of favoritism. Students can show their fairness by doing their own work, acknowledging borrowed work, respecting rules and policies, and maintaining the reputation of your university. You can demonstrate fairness by taking responsibility for your own actions and following the rules and policies. Respect is keeping something in high regard or esteem. It is treating yourself and others with dignity. As a student, you show respect by using opportunities to learn, taking active responsibility for your own education, and participating fairly and kindly. You can demonstrate respect by listening to feedback, open communication, and recognizing the consequence of your actions. We share responsibility as a learning community by being accountable, by seeking information from your lecturers, and by seeking information about policies. You demonstrate responsibility by holding yourself and others accountable, knowing and following rules and policies, and modeling good behavior. And finally, courage. Acting and upholding your values despite fear. It is holding yourself and your fellow students to the highest standards of academic integrity. You can demonstrate courage by taking a stand against wrongdoing, calling it out, and defending integrity. So why does it matter? If you act in a manner inconsistent with these values, in other words, if you cheat or pay someone to write your exam or plagiarize, it is likely you will do similar things in the workplace. No employer wants to appoint a cheat. So if you have a disciplinary case on your academic record, an employer might decide not to give you a job. If society believes that UNISA students cheat, they will not value graduates from UNISA. The university will get a bad reputation, and we might lose accreditation from quality assurance bodies like the Council of Higher Education or professional bodies such as the South African Institute of Chartered Accountants, which currently, and they both currently recognize UNISA as a place that produces quality graduates. So even if you personally don't cheat, other students cheating is a danger to your degree. So what is cheating? Well, it's not doing the work yourself. It starts by the buying or selling of an exam paper, which is illegal. During an exam, I would recommend not even sharing the question paper with anyone. You might think you're doing a friend a favor, only to find out your friend sold the paper to a ghostwriter. Some dishonest people are going to attempt to sell you the answers for exams, the ones that somebody shared with them. This is called contract cheating or ghostwriting. These people or services will get the exam paper and work out the answers and then sell these answers. They might give students tips to try and fool their lecturers, such as changing the order of answers or making deliberate mistakes. But what also happens is that these people sell the same answer scripts to more than one student. The result? There are always a few students who don't make any changes, and from there the rest are found out. Another form of contract cheating is to ask or pay another person to write an exam on your behalf in real time. That person will attempt to present themselves online with your credentials. However, with the use of Iris and the Invigilator app and Moodle proctoring, we can determine if multiple assessments are being written from one location and even by the same person through a webcam. The exam rules expressly forbids the use of generative AI in writing your exams, such as this new ChatGPT. And in most cases, it also prohibits you from going online to find answers in any way. Plagiarism is using someone else's ideas without acknowledgement. In an exam situation of less than 4 hours, you might not necessarily be asked to reference every idea, but you cannot copy and paste from other sources, including your study guide. You must still use your own words. Sharing answers in study groups. Study groups is a wonderful resource to study together and for emotional support. However, when you share answers during the exam and sit together to write the exam, that is cheating. That includes using, for example, Telegram or WhatsApp groups to answer questions or to ask questions. The best way to avoid sharing answers is to make very clear rules amongst your study group. Act with trust and honesty, even when your lecturers cannot see you. Not using the prescribed software, whether it was Moodle, proctoring, or Iris, or the Invigilating app, is a transgression of academic integrity, since it is your responsibility to be aware of the rules and follow them. Students must take responsibility for using the software correctly, including setting up and testing beforehand. That last 30 minutes uploading time for handwritten exams, that is not part of your writing time. When your writing time finished, you need to stop and save and upload your files as a PDF or scan handwritten answers into a PDF and then submit. Make sure your PDFs are accessible and has no restrictions on it, and test this beforehand. The upload time is only there for the university to help resolve any uploading issues. If you continue writing, you are cheating. And And if there is a problem later on, the university will not be able to assist you. So what happens if we find that you cheated? Well, there's a formal process that is followed when lecturers identify possible cases of plagiarism. This includes lecturing gathering all of the evidence needed and marks being withheld while the investigation takes place. Students are issued a warning letter and can decide to accept or contest the charges. If students contest the charge, a formal hearing is set and guilt determined on the probability of evidence. If found guilty, sanctions are implemented. Students can be represented by a fellow student or an SRC member during these hearings, and you may appeal, but the appeal is final. Sanctions can vary from failing the module and having to re-register to a suspension from 6 months to 5 years. Sanctions also appear on your academic record and will follow you throughout your career, as any time you apply for a job, your academic record will show that you acted without integrity. Serious and repeated cases will have more serious sanctions, such as cancellation of all credits that you have already accumulated, or even revoking of your entire degree. If your degree is registered with a professional body, they may also not allow registration with that body, meaning that you will not be able to practice for the degree you studied. So if you hear something, see something, do something, these are the whistleblowing hotlines that you can contact if you have heard or see a fellow student acting in a manner that is not congruent with academic values. We are all part of the puzzle of academic integrity. We all have a role to play. We are all a little piece of the bigger picture. But if even one piece goes missing, the picture is never complete. Student may wonder whether all of these rules are necessary, but these rules are here to protect your degree. Thank you very much.
Thank you very, very much for that, Dr. Ingrid Murray. I think you unpacked that quite nicely for us, why exactly UNISA has implemented the proctoring tools. It really is to safeguard our students' qualifications at the end of the day and to ensure that the integrity of what they are being offered by UNISA is still intact. And I think this is something that many of our students don't understand, is the importance of this particular approach, specifically when you finish and you have that paper and you want to get employed at the end of the day. So that's really, Dr. Ingrid Murray really unpacked that quite nicely for us. Now that you know what academic integrity is and why UNISA is moving towards proctoring tools, it is my pleasure now to invite a set of colleagues who are going to unpack what proctoring tools for us. We have 3 proctoring tools that are used at UNISA. You may have heard of this. It's Moodle Proctoring, Invigilator App, and Iris. Now, all 3 are not used for the same paper. These are different tools that are used for different papers. Now, we will tell you a little bit later of how you can find out what are the proctoring tools, or Richard might cover that for us. But let me invite Richard back, and he's going to discuss a little bit about the profile photo and Moodle proctoring for us. Thank you very much, Richard.
Yeah, thank you, Denzel. So before we dive into the proctoring tools, you might know already that it is a requirement that you have a profile photo on My Modules. So remember, I've seen a question regarding this as well. You only upload the profile photo on My Modules. If you're going to log into myExams, it's a different platform, so your photo will not display on the myExams. So do not worry if your photo is not showing the myExams portal, as long as your photo is uploaded on My Modules. Now, to upload your profile photo is very easy. You just log into My Modules, you click on your profile photo or your profile name, you click on Profile, and then on this page, you can click on this Edit Profile button at the top. Let me just get a laser point here. So once you click on your username, profile, when the page that opens, there should be a link, Edit Profile. On that edit profile, you just scroll down to your user pictures, and then here you can upload a photo from your device. So just a requirement for the photo is it should be of your face where you are clearly visible. So you can use, for instance, if you're wearing glasses, keep them on as long as they're not obstructing the features of your face, but no hats, for instance, in that regard. So please do this as soon as possible before the exams. You should preferably have done it already, actually, but do this, now during the session or after the session. Just a note as well regarding the picture. Usually a landscape picture works the best, or because sometimes if you take a portrait picture with your cell phone, it tends to sometimes flip it or rotate it. So the best is just to then crop the photo into more or less a square, and then make sure your face is centered, and then upload the photo. So just to quickly show you the steps, if you go to myExams, so you just log in. Go to my modules. So at the top right, you just click on your profile name, click on the profile link, and then here on this page, you will see there's an edit profile link on here. So if you click on that, you just need to scroll down to your user picture. So here you just select the picture then from your device. So you can select any compatible type of picture. And then once selected, you select upload this file. The photo will then appear in this block, but it won't be displaying on top here yet. What you need to do then is scroll down and click on the update profile button. So just make sure once you've uploaded your photo to scroll down and click on update profile. So if we look at the proctoring tools that will be used during exams, as Denzel mentioned, there is quite a few of them. We've got Moodle proctoring, Invigilator app, and Iris invigilation. So note, you will never use two proctoring tools at the same time, and they are also used primarily for different types of assessments. So Moodle proctoring is a camera. If you're going to do the exam on your phone, for instance, it will be using the front-facing camera of your phone. If it's you're going to be using a laptop, it will be using your laptop's camera, your webcam. And if you're using a desktop, you will need a webcam for the Moodle proctoring to work. The Invigilator app is a bit different. This is an app that you download from your mobile's app store. It installs on your phone. You start it on your phone, and preferably when you're writing your exam, you're going to have it next to you. So you're still going to perhaps write on your laptop or your desktop, but as long as the app is running on your phone. So the Moodle proctoring is for MCQ type of assessments. It's not used for take-home. So if you know it's something that you're going to have to write, it's going to be the Invigilator app. If it's a Moodle MCQ, it's going to use the Moodle proctoring. Then the third one is the Iris invigilation. This is used for take-home and MCQ, but it's primarily only used in the College of Science, Engineering and Technology, and some of the CAS modules are now also implementing Iris invigilation. So if you're from all your modules falls under College of Science, Engineering, Technology, you know you're only going to use Iris invigilation. If you have just a few modules that fall into that in that college, you'll probably also then for those modules use Iris invigilation and other proctoring tools for other modules. So that's why it's very important for you to check which proctoring tools your modules are going to be using, so you can prepare now already, so you don't have to worry about it later, closer to the exams. So to help you out, there is a proctoring lookup tool that's on the guides. So I'll quickly show you exactly where to find them. So on the course, we're now on lesson 3, proctoring tools. So at the bottom, there is the steps as well for uploading your profile photo. So if you just want to review the steps, there is a step-by-step guide. There's also then the section, what proctoring tool will my module use? And on here, you can actually type in your module that you will be writing. So you just type in the module code, and it will then, for instance, tell you the assessment type. Is it a take-home? So we know take-home by now is an assignment. So it's almost like the assignments tool that you use for your assignments, where you have to upload a written assignment, and it will be using the Invigilator app. So you can type in all your modules names, just go through each of them, make sure that you know which proctoring tool you will be using. This is also very important because say your modules are only going to be using Moodle proctoring, you will not be able to register on the Invigilator app. You will only be able to register on the Invigilator app if you are going to be using the invigilation tool. So please make sure that before you even attempting, testing out the apps, that you are going to be using that particular app. So just to give you a brief overview of the different proctoring tools. So the first one is called Moodle proctoring. As you can see, it uses your camera on your phone, or it will be using the camera on your laptop device. For this proctoring, you will have to use it on, you will have to complete the exam on the device you are going to be using. So if you're going to be using your laptop, the laptop's camera will be used. If you're going to be using your cell phone, it's going to use your cell phone camera. So you can't have it separately on, say, your mobile device while you answer on your laptop or desktop. So this one works very easily. You don't need to do really any setup beforehand, as you just need to make sure that your camera is working and that you allowed your camera. And it basically takes snapshots of your face during the sessions, and this is to make sure that there's nobody assisting you, and also that it is you writing the exams. The second one, as we mentioned, is the Invigilator app. It's generally used for take-home assessments. So it's the written assessments that you're going to be writing out, or you might be typing it out in Word during the assessment. So this one runs only on a mobile device. So you can download from all these various stores, and you start the device, you start the invigilation on your mobile device, but while you're writing your exam on a notepad or on a how can I say, Microsoft Word document. Once you are done with your assessment, you upload, but take pictures of your script. So it can be from your notepad, or if you used Word, you just take pictures of your screen. You upload it to the Invigilator app, but you also need to upload on the myExams platform. So it's very important that you just know that on the Invigilator app, it will prompt you during the assessment to take photos or of yourself or your environment. And at the end, you do need to start the uploading process on the Invigilation app of the pictures you've taken, scanned in of your what you have written. And then lastly is the iOS Invigilation that we will also cover. So this one is mostly currently for CSET students that will be using this. This one runs on your browser. It's a browser extension, so you can't use it on a mobile device. It will you will need to use a laptop or desktop. And this is a Chrome extension, but it also works on Microsoft Edge. And this one runs on the browser that you will be using, and it takes pictures of your desktop and of your records your movement during the exam process. So just to have a look at the first Moodle proctoring. So if we go back to the lesson 3 proctoring tools. So you've now basically uploaded your picture. You know now what proctoring tools you're going to use, so you know which section to cover here. So the first one we will use is Moodle proctoring. So as mentioned, this is a webcam, what uses the camera on your phone. Once you start the examination, you can notice that there's how can I say, a block here to say this will use your webcam. So that means it's going to be using Moodle proctoring. What you need to do is once you access the exam, a pop-up will appear on your mobile device or on your desktop to allow the camera. Very important that you allow this. If you block this, you will have to go into your device settings to allow the camera for the specific website. So just make sure the first time you use it, just to click on allow. Once you click allow, you can then click on the attempt quiz now. It will pop up where you have to tick the box that you agreed to the process, and it will also give you the duration. And then it might show on your device on the side, but sometimes I do switch it off for more larger modules to conserve the server. So if the camera is not showing while you are doing it, don't worry, as long as you pause the stage we did tick the box. So all you need to do here, you complete the MCQ assessment as you would do any quiz type of assessment. Remember, just in the exams, it will be one question at a time. The questions will be shuffled. So finish one question, proceed to the next question until you've finally finished all the questions, and then you can submit. So when we get to the mock exam section, we will show you a demo exactly how this works. Now, some of the problems that we had in the past was perhaps you go do the mock exam, and suddenly it just shows a black screen, especially with laptops. Make sure that firstly that the camera is working. You can use the camera app on Windows. Just open up the camera app, see if it's the camera is working on there. If it's working on there, then it means there is a different problem. It might be a settings problem with your browser. But a lot of times it might be, for instance, a lot of laptops come now with a security slider over the camera. So make sure it is open during, before you start. And also that there's nothing obstructing the camera. So they are going to be a lot more strict now with the Moodle proctoring. If they feel or if you get flagged and there is indications that you tampered with the camera, maybe you put something over it so it's blurry, or paste something over so it just shows black, they will be able to determine whether it's a camera not functioning versus a camera that's been tampered with. So just be aware. Make sure that your camera lens is clean and that you are clearly visible in a well-lit area when you write your exams. A lot of questions we also get usually for Moodle proctoring, and it applies to other proctoring as well. What happens if you have to go to the bathroom, for instance? All you do is you just say in the camera, I am going to the bathroom. We also get questions, for instance, if it's load shedding, you have to switch devices. Just tell the camera what you are doing in that session. Remember, even if you get flagged, there's still somebody going physically through all of this to ensure that academic misconduct actually did happen. So it doesn't mean if you get flagged, it's so immediate that your assessment is not going to be marked. When you get flagged, it basically means somebody else just also looks at it a bit further to determine if there was any academic dishonesty. So always with any of the proctoring tools, if you go to the bathroom quickly, or if you go to switch the server on, or say somebody walked in and you have to shout at them, even though you might get flagged, somebody will still see if there was actually you were discussing the work or something to do with one of the questions. So do not worry about those attempts, especially also with the Invigilator app. If you go for the bathroom and you get a prompt, usually you can miss, say, one prompt, but make sure that you are there for the other prompts. So do not miss more than one prompt. So with that, that's the Moodle proctoring. So as you can see, you do not need to install any additional software. It just uses the camera that's on your device. So preferably use also Microsoft Edge or Google Chrome for this app, as that's proven to work the best. And as always, we will do the mock exam a bit later to show you a real-world example. Use the mock exam to make sure that your setup is correct and do it as quickly as possible so that you know you are ready for the exams and you can basically just follow on your module content for your preparations. Thank you, Denzel.
Thanks very much, Richard. Now that you understand what the profile photo is, the modeling proctoring tool, we now move on to the next one, which is the Invigilator app. This is the second invigilation app that's a part of UNISA's proctoring process. It's my pleasure at this time to invite Erica, who is from the Invigilator team, to unpack what exactly is the Invigilator app for us. Thanks, Erica, and welcome.
Thank you very much, Denzel. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Erica de Toy, and I'll be taking you through a few of the things that you need to know about the Invigilator app. Richard, if I can just ask you to stop sharing your screen, please. Thank you. Right, I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to briefly take you through the different functionalities of the app so that you understand exactly what the app will be doing while it is invigilating you. Now, you are going to get randomized prompts during your assessment to take a selfie. This selfie is compared with the master selfie that you took when registering on the app. We use artificial intelligence to ensure that it is the correct student writing the test. Ladies and gentlemen, we also have a liveness detector, which means that we make sure that you're taking an actual photo and not a photo of a photo or a photo of a video. Next, we have randomized voice recordings that detect human speech. So any noise like a generator or traffic or construction, you need not worry about. It really only just detects human speech. All of these audio recordings are listened to, and it's only when the content of the test is being discussed that that is seen as a transgression. And I just want to also mention that should you tamper with your microphone in any way, that is also detected as the audio recordings also pick up sound waves. If you try and block your microphone, maybe by putting a pillow over it or putting some press stick over it, that will automatically be a fail. Ladies and gentlemen, it's always a good idea to have some form of identification with you, like a student card or an ID card or your an ID card or a driver's license, as at some point you will be asked to take a photo of that as well. And you might get other instructions such as taking a photo of your desk or taking a photo of perhaps the page that you are busy completing. Then while you are writing, we also map where you are located. And what we're trying to do is we're trying to detect students who are writing in very close proximity. Now, again, don't worry about this. We do know that many students write in student accommodation, or they perhaps write in the library. And so the fact that you are in very close proximity is not necessarily a transgression. But what we do is we extract a report and we indicate to lecturers which clusters of students wrote very close to each other. And those scripts are then marked directly after each other, and the lecturer is on the lookout for any possible copying that might have taken place. Then quite important is our built-in browser. So the built-in browser is only important if you only have one device, in other words, a smartphone. So if you don't also have access to a laptop or a desktop, that means that you need to use your mobile phone, not just for invigilation purposes, but also to access and complete your assessment. And that's completely possible by using the built-in browser of the app. If you are in the fortunate position to have a laptop as well as a smartphone, you'll use your smartphone for invigilation, and you'll use your laptop or your desktop to complete your assessment on. Then, ladies and gentlemen, you will be required to take a photo of each of your answer sheets at the end of the assessment. So if it's handwritten, it will be a photo of each of your handwritten pages. If you've typed it out, it will be a photo of each of your screens. Now, very important here is that there are two different time frames that you need to be aware of. The first one is that once the invigilation ends, you have 10 minutes in which you need to take these photos. Once you've taken the photos, you then have 48 hours in which you need to upload all of the data that we've collected to our database. So two very important but separate steps. If you don't take the photos within the 10 minutes, automatically your script will not upload. So it's really, really important to first make sure that you take those photos within the 10 minutes. And then once that's done, you have 48 hours to submit all of your data to the app. Finally, ladies and gentlemen, you are not allowed to leave or to minimize the app unless you are reaching out to our help desk via WhatsApp. We monitor all of the out-of-app time because obviously once you leave or minimize the app, you're obviously able to WhatsApp, place a call, or access other online sources. So all of this out-of-app time is recorded and it's made available to the lecturer as well. Also, for those students who simply just enter the app and stay in the app for 10 minutes and then end the invigilation, that will also be monitored. So please make sure that you stay in the invigilation up until you have completed your assessment. Right, let me just go back to, sorry. Just want to share my screen again. Okay, the next thing that I'd like to show you, as everyone has been speaking, you will be aware now that under lesson 3, all of your different proctoring tools are available. I just want to take you through the Invigilator app's information very briefly so that you know what resources are available to you. Now, if you read through this information, Richard has spoken about the fact that you can check whether your module uses the Invigilator app or not. There's also a functionality under our page where you can check whether your module needs to use the Invigilator app. Ladies and gentlemen, I cannot stress enough how important it is for you to download the app, to register on the app and perform the calibration at least 2 or 3 days prior to the assessment. We find that when students do this timeously, that eliminates all anxiety relating to the app, and on the day of the assessment, things go smoothly. The problem runs is if students only want to download and register on the morning of the assessment, and then they run into all kinds of trouble because they don't have enough time to work through everything. So download the app ahead of time. You will also see that there is a 7.5-minute video here, which I strongly recommend that you watch. It really explains the student experience to you in a very nice visual and interactive way. And another very important resource is that of the Invigilator app student user guide. So guys, this student user guide really takes you through each and every step of the Invigilator. It will explain to you how to download, it will explain to you how to register, how to calibrate, etc. And probably the most important thing about the student user guide is that it has a demo. So on page 8 of the student user guide, you will see a QR code. And if you scan that QR code, it will take you through an 8-minute simulation of what the app will be doing while you are being invigilated. So it's not a test, don't worry about it. We're not testing anything. It's just a demonstration. It takes only 8 minutes. And once you've done that demo, you will be completely comfortable and you'll understand what the app does. So another very important message from my side is please make sure that you do the demo prior to actually writing your first assessment with the app. The last thing that I'd like to mention is the fact that we have a help desk. So our help desk is a WhatsApp help desk. This means that you cannot place a call to the number, but you can send us a WhatsApp. So that's great because you can send us a screenshot, a voice note, or a short video of whatever the problem is that you might be experiencing. And we then have trained agents who will assist you within minutes. Finally, there's a document also that is our Invigilator app frequently asked questions, and you're more than welcome to have a look at that document as well. Ladies and gentlemen, that is all from my side. I wish you the best for your upcoming assessments. And if in doubt, please reach out to our help desk. Remember, the help desk is not just there for during an assessment. It's when you run into any kind of troubles relating to the assessment, whether you struggle to download, struggle to register, whatever the case might be, we are there for you. Thank you very much.
Thanks very much for that, Erica, for unpacking the app for us. And I think you stressed that point quite nicely as well about the helpline, and students can get some support there as well. So please remember that when you are working with this particular Invigilator app as well, and also for the additional support. Now, we've unpacked Moodle proctoring, we've unpacked Invigilator app, and then there's a third one that we mentioned, Iris. Now, at this point, it's my pleasure to invite Lazarus Aaron from the College of Science, Engineering and Technology to unpack a little bit about us about the Iris Invigilation app. Thanks, Lazarus.
Thanks, Denzel, and good evening, students. I'm just going to share my screen quickly. Okay, so I assume you can see my screen now. Okay, so I'm going to take you through the setup instructions for Iris. Just as Richard mentioned earlier, Iris is used specifically in CSET, and at the moment it's also being used for some CAS modules, specifically the CTA examinations. Your CSET modules will be your maths, science, computing, and engineering modules. So even though you may not necessarily be a CSET student, you may still need to use IRIS if you are doing any modules from the College of Science, Engineering, and Technology. So what is IRIS? So IRIS is a invigilation system, as mentioned previously, also that provides assurance of assessment integrity at UNISA. It helps us with online and remote assessment. IRIS records audio, video, and computer screen activity for the duration of a test or an examination. It analyzes this information using machine learning and automatically flags potential academic dishonesty. This also has a GPS location that tells us whether students were sitting in close proximity, and we use it to, if there's students with similar scripts, we'll use it to check, okay, were you sitting close to each other, or did you have some sort of communication with each other? Just one point to note here, that as Richard mentioned previously, that although IRIS uses machine learning to flag potential academic dishonesty, it is an actual person that determines whether someone cheated or not. So IRIS might flag you, but an actual person from the examination department will go through the video and all the recordings to actually determine whether you did actually cheat or not. So how does IRIS work? IRIS records audio, video, and computer screen activity for the duration of an exam. Again, uses machine learning. So it takes pictures of your screen. It records all your audio and records all your video during the examination. This is this is the difference between IRIS and the Invigilator app. The Invigilator app records audio but does not record your video the entire time, but IRIS does. So you will need your computer in front of you, and on the entire duration of the examination, you'll actually need a stable internet connection, as mentioned here. So the necessary equipment is a stable internet connection. IRIS uploads your recordings to the IRIS servers every 10 minutes. So your internet connection needs to be stable. You need a laptop or a desktop. You need an external or built-in microphone, no headsets. You need a web camera. We recommend that the minimum specifications for your computer be 4 GB RAM and at least Windows 7 64-bit. IRIS can be quite intensive on your computing power or your computer's power, so computer's capabilities rather. So that's why we require or we suggest that the minimum specifications be 4 GB RAM. IRIS is a browser plugin. It needs to be downloaded and installed onto your browser. You can use either Google Chrome or Microsoft Edge. You need to install it before you write your examination. You need to have the latest browser version. So if you're using Google Chrome or Edge, you need to make sure that you have the latest version of either browser installed on your laptop. If you have a MacBook, you can also use IRIS, but you need to download Google Chrome for your MacBook and use it on that. It won't work on Safari. Okay, so how do you go about downloading the IRIS extension? You go on Chrome, you will go to the Chrome Web Store. It will be similar for Microsoft Edge, where you will go to the Edge Web Store. You can just Google Chrome Web Store. It will be the first item on the search. You can go to the link, and then in the search bar for the Chrome Web Store, you can type in IRIS here, and then IRIS will be the first item that pops up on the list, the first extension. You will click on this extension. This is how the IRIS icon looks like, or this is what it looks like. You will click on that. After you've clicked on that, you will click on Add to Chrome. After you've clicked on Add to Chrome, you will get this pop-up on your browser. You have to click on Add Extension. Your IRIS environment is now installed, and are ready to write an IRIS invigilated examination. When you are writing examination, you will open Google Chrome, you will log on to the examination site via module. IRIS is a pop-up that is activated as soon as you open the examination site. You will follow the instructions carefully and then start your test. I'm going to take you through how the pop-up looks like just now. So if you're using IRIS for the first time, it will ask you for permission to use your camera and your microphone. You have to allow in both instances. Once you've done that, this is the pop-up that I've been talking about. This will happen as soon as this pop-up will come on your screen, on your browser, as soon as you open your examination site, before you actually open your examination paper. So you will need to agree to the terms and conditions. You do not have to consent for use of data for research and product improvement. It's not necessary. You will then click on continue. And Iris, this lady will start talking to you. She will give you the instructions on what you need to do. The first time you use Iris, you need to allow her to take you through the entire process. So she needs to finish talking, and then only will you'll be allowed to click the next button. On each subsequent use of Iris, the next button will be populated after you've filled in your information here. So this lady will ask you to choose a camera, choose a microphone, enter your name, and enter your student ID number. You will, for your ID number, please make sure you enter your student ID number, not your South African ID number. Please make sure that your ID number is correct. If it is incorrect, the system will pick you up as not having used IRIS, and you will not get your examination, your exam mark. So this is very important. Your student ID number needs to be correct. So once you've finished these, completed these details, you will click on next. This button will turn purple. You'll be able to click on it. You click on next. Then you will be asked to capture your student ID card. Hold your ID card as close to the camera as possible so that the entire card is visible. This is used, the picture in here is used to authenticate you against the person writing in front of the computer. But don't worry if it's an old picture, it's not an issue. If you don't have a student ID, you are allowed to use your South African ID or your driver's license, some identification with a picture of you on it. After that, after capturing your ID, you can click on next. You will then be asked to position your face in the middle of the camera. That's a straightforward process. You will then click on Start Invigilation. What's important to know that even though the system tells you to click on Start Invigilation, there's still another step to complete for you to for invigilation to actually start. So after you've clicked on Start Invigilation, there's another pop-up that comes on your screen, and this requests that you allow IRIS to share your screen. So you need to click on the little copy. This is a copy of your screen on this dialog box. So on this dialog box will be a copy of your screen. You need to click on that. As soon as you click on that, this share button will turn from gray. So it's originally gray. If you have not clicked on it, it will remain gray. If you click here on the screen, this button will turn purple, and only then will you be able to share your screen. Once you've clicked on share, then invigilation is actually started. There are some students who get to this point, they see their screen, the share button is grayed out, they minimize IRIS, they assume that they are being recorded because they have clicked on Start Invigilation, but that is not the case. You are not being recorded until you click on this share button. After you've clicked on the share button, you can then open your examination. You can minimize IRIS and open your examination paper on the exam site. You can write your examination. When you are done with it, you can there are two options. Is on the previous screen when on sorry, which is not sure, but you have an option of once you if you finish your examination early, you can maximize iris and you can click on finish recording. When you click on finish recording, then the screen will pop up and it will start uploading some files. Once the files are uploaded, the screen will close. If you get to your examination end time, the screen will pop up automatically and it will start uploading files automatically. If you're writing an MCQ examination and you click on submit, this screen will also pop up automatically and it will pick up that you've finished your examination. But if you're writing a file upload exam, then you will have to maximize iris and then click on finish recording, and then this screen will start up and iris will start uploading files. Okay, so this is not meant necessarily for CTA students, it's for all students writing the iris practice, writing an iris invigilated examination have been linked to a site on my modules. If you go to my modules, you should see the iris prep 2022 site. You can go on there and do the iris practice examination. Please do the practice examination before you write your iris invigilated exam. There is a iris practice test on the ADOVH site that Richard spoke about earlier. There's an iris practice exam on there as well, so you can go there to test iris to make sure that it's working properly. There's also a iris troubleshooting document on both practice sites. So there's two sites, one on the ADOVH site and one that you are linked to on my modules. Just one important point is that in CSET, iris is used for all examinations. That includes file upload and MCQ exams. So we do not use the Moodle proctoring for MCQs. We use iris for all examinations. For MCQ examinations, an important thing to note is that it requires a password. This password is automatically filled in by iris, and if you do not complete iris correctly, if you do not set it up, you do not share your screen, this password won't be filled in. So if the password for some reason is not filled in, it's because iris has not been activated correctly. A lot of students do not know about iris and they get to the examination on an MCQ exam. They see that the exam requires a password. They start emailing the support staff for the password, but we then tell them no, they need to have iris installed, and iris actually puts in the password itself. The file upload examinations do not require a password, but it is up to you in those cases to make sure that iris is running, even though you may have access to the examination and write the examination and submit it. You will not get your mark if you do not use iris on an iris invigilated examination. Okay, thank you and good luck with your examinations. Thanks, Denzel. I'm done.
Thank you very, very much for that, Lazarus. And specifically, remember that the iris app is for CSET colleagues, CSET students, so take note of that. Now, you may be still saying, but this is really confusing. How do I actually test this out before I start my exams? And we've made provision for that. We've actually set up a mock exam as well. Now, before we get to the mock exam, I'm going to invite Richard back, and he's going to take us through the required devices. What devices do you need specifically for this particular exam, basic specs of some of these devices, and he's also going to take you through the mock exams as well. Now, that's quite an important one because we found that majority of the students that completed the mock exams went into and also used the proctoring tools, found it much easier to fix up the problems before they started the exams. So please take careful note of this. So Richard, let me hand over back to you, Richard. Thanks.
Hey, thank you, Denzel. So as you can see with the proctoring tools that's being used and the online platforms, there is some requirements in terms of the devices that you have. So remember, you just need access to these devices. So you could borrow, if you don't have a smartphone that's up to date, you can always borrow somebody's one for the day just to run the Invigilator app, for instance. But please make sure that beforehand that you have access to these types of devices. So if you're going to be using, for instance, the Invigilator app, or you're going to be doing your MCQ exam on your mobile device with Moodle proctoring, preferably not a phone that's older than 5 years. Make sure the operating system is up to date. Make sure the apps are up to date, that you have access to the internet. Most importantly, that you've got space. Remember, these, especially with the Invigilator, it does take pictures and record sound, so make sure you've got enough space on your mobile device, and that it's got a working camera, microphone, and sound, so you can hear the various prompts. So if you're going to be using a laptop or desktop, for all the, especially for Moodle proctoring and for Iris, make sure that you've at least got the Windows 10 that's updated to the latest version, that's got access to the internet, that it's at least able to run, productivity apps such as Microsoft Office very easily, and then also be able to run modern web browsers such as the latest Chrome or Microsoft Edge. Then make sure also beforehand, when you test out with the mock exam, make sure it's got a working camera or webcam, a microphone. Remember, you may not use headsets during the examination. You may only, so it must have a mic on your device for the recording of sound with Iris. And then finally also that it has sound, so you can hear any prompts, and also a Wi-Fi connection. So remember, with these ones that's online, you do need connection at the entire time, especially with the Iris invigilation and with the Moodle proctoring. If you get cut off during the time, just start the examination again. It will continue from where you left off. So if the Wi-Fi does get interrupted. So finally, you've now worked through all the lessons. So now you can access the mock exams to make sure that your setup is correct. So this falls under lesson 7 on the open course. So we've got mock exams for MCQ and take home. So the one is using Moodle proctoring, the other one is using Invigilator app. So only use the one that you will be using for your exam. So if you're not going to be using any modules that's going to be proctored using the Invigilator app, you won't be able to register on the app. So you do not need to do the take home exam example. For everything here that you're going to be doing is just MCQ, and you're not with the College of Science, Engineering, Technology, and you're going to be using Moodle proctoring, you can use this one to test out your camera. So it's very easy. You just click on this link to open the site, but I just want to make you aware, when you log in, you just log in with your student number and password. This site is actually on My Modules, so it's the exact same credentials. The first time it might will ask you to enroll. So just click on the Enroll Me button. You can enroll yourself if you're not enrolled yet. We do try and add everybody to the site, but you might need to, for the first time, just click on Enroll Me. And then it will actually be on the drop-down button at the top to accessible for you to access the site. So then from here, you can then click on either one that you want to test out for your proctoring. So remember, MCQ, Moodle, Take Home, Invigilator app. So this is the site that will open. So if you joined it the first time, it will be available in your drop-down menu. So you can then easily access it again. So you just scroll down, you make sure that you have completed the course and all these various sections. And then you can select whether you're going to test out the MCQ or the take home. We do have one that does not have any proctoring for students with special needs, but also just wants to make sure that they understand the procedure. And then there's also a specific one for decision sciences, where they have calculations in their quizzes that you can also do if you're doing decision sciences. So the first one we will look at is the MCQ. So remember, this one uses Moodle proctoring. So you can have a look through the instructions. So it will tell you, for instance, you get 90 minutes. There's just 5 MCQ questions that you need to answer. This is generally on your exams as well. You will have a link to the online exam rules. Make sure to have a look at the latest rules that you do know the do's and don'ts for the examination. So here it will show you when it's got this line webcam, you know it is going to be using Moodle proctoring. For this one, we actually allowed quite a few attempts, so you can test this out 10 times. And it does have an opening and closing date, but it's far ahead in the future, so to give you ample time to test it out throughout the year. So how you would do it will be exactly like on your exam. So you're going to access your exam site, you click on your assessment, and then you attempt quiz now. So the first time it will ask you a pop-up to allow your camera. So you need to allow the camera. Just make sure you do tick the box. It will display your camera here. If it is not picking up a camera, you won't be able to select start attempt. So you need to tick this box when your camera is displaying and then select start attempt. So on your exams, you will also have a timer that will indicate to you how much time you have left to complete the quiz. Remember, you will only be able to do one question at a time. So you need to answer the question and then proceed to the next question. This webcam on the right-hand side might display, but on some of the modules, they disable this to preserve the load. So as long as your camera is showing on the first one when you agree, then you do not need to worry if the camera is not showing you on the right-hand side. So you just proceed through all the questions step by step until you reach the final question. And then you can click on Finish Attempt. So this will give you a summary of all the questions that you've answered. And then from here, you can then submit all and finish. So we've still got a lot of time left, so I can already just select here, submit all and finish. You will note you don't need to stop the camera or anything. Everything just runs in the background. And from here, you just go submit all and finish. On the device that you'll be using, especially with smaller screen devices, make sure that you can click on this confirmation. In the past, we had students where this confirmation pop up because their screens are so small, they might just see the top of it, so they can't get to the button. So the device that you're using, if you're going to be especially using a mobile device, come and do the Moodle proctoring, the MCQ, and make sure that you can submit all and finish this attempt. So from there, it will just give you that you have submitted your attempt successfully. So the second one that we were going to be looking at is the mock exam for take home. So remember, this uses the Invigilator app. So these are ones where you download the assessment. So you can come and do the mock exam. This one is 90 pages, 90 minutes, and it's just to also write a short essay on questions as provided here. So as always, there's also the online examination rules. And from here, you can download the question paper. So you can really pretend like this is a real exam situation. So you will come in, log in, say 1:45 when 15 minutes before your exam is starting. You will download the exam question paper. You will then take out your app, the Invigilator app. You will scan the Invigilator code, and then you will on the app select start attempt. So it will ask you to prompt you to take a photo of yourself before you start. But from here, basically, once you scanned it, you started it, you open up the question paper and you complete it on your notepad or on Microsoft Word on your desktop. So you will just basically type it out. The app will run next to you on your mobile phone. It will prompt you in between for additional photos, and then but you will just continue writing. So if you're doing it on a notepad, you just write out on your notepad. If you're typing it out on Microsoft Word, you just continue typing out. So once you are done, so remember the advice is if you finish before the due time, the PDF document, If you're going to be using Write It Out, you need to scan in the documents to your device for submissions and merge them into one PDF. If you don't have a scanner, there is the OneDrive app that you can use. It's got a built-in scanner functionality, and it actually crops the pictures and makes it very clear and puts it all into one PDF document. So once you've finished writing your exam and you still have time left, submit on myExams. But say you reach, the cutoff time. So say you need to submit by 2 o'clock. It's now reached 2 o'clock. Start the uploading process on the app first. So the app will prompt you then to take pictures of your scripts. Start that uploading. You only get 10 minutes on the Invigilator app, 8 to 10 minutes to start the uploading process. So that is very critical that you, in that 8 to 10 minutes after the cutoff time, start the uploading process. And then on myExams, you get 30 minutes to submit. So then first start the uploading process on the app. If you do not have internet connectivity or interruptions with the uploading process, the app does store it and it will upload it later when it does have a connection again. So you do not need to worry as long as you start the uploading process within that 10 minutes. On myExams, you've got 30 minutes. So you will then need to come and submit your PDF document on here. So on this, when you do a submission, you just go on add a submission. So this is when you've now completed writing. So you just scroll down. So firstly, you will have to acknowledge that it is your own work. Remember, there is can be a file limit. So usually it's one file. So especially if you're going to scan in with your phone to a PDF, make sure it's one PDF document. And then you'll notice there's also a restriction on file types. So generally the safest route to go is to save your document as PDF, as you did with your assignments as well. So from here, you can then drag and drop a file on here, the one that you saved, or you can select this to browse your computer for a file that you want to upload. So if I go on my one, for instance, and I upload my sample PDF. So before you click upload this file, just make sure that the file name is displaying on here. Sometimes it does take a bit longer, and then you click upload this file and it gives you an error. So just before you click upload this file, just make sure that the file name is displaying there, and then you can click upload this file. So once you've uploaded your file, you can click on Save Changes. And that means that your file has been submitted. Now, I really advise you, so it will display green here that if you submitted before the, how can I say, the cut or the due date. But remember, it will display yellow if you're within the cutoff period. That's that 30 minutes that you have. So don't worry if it's displaying yellow, as long as it said it has been submitted. I also advise you to click on the file that you submitted to make sure it is the correct file. You'll be surprised how many incorrect files they get, for instance, such as your tutorial letters and things like that. Because you are stressed at that moment, just once you submit it, make sure that you have submitted the correct file. If you find out, oh wait, I've submitted the incorrect file, you can always click on Edit Submission. Then you can click on the existing file, delete the file, and then upload a new file. And all you do is save changes. So you will only be able to do this if you're still within the cutoff time for the submission. And oh yes, if you do a resubmit, you just need to tick the box again to acknowledge that it is your own work. So from there, then you have submitted successfully. So remember, with the take-home assessments that uses the Invigilator app, you generally can start the invigilation process 15 minutes before the exam starts, but it also has a cutoff time afterwards of 15 minutes. So if your exam starts 10 o'clock and you only start the app, say 20 past 10, it will tell you you are late. You are late for the examination. If you, so if the final time, submission time is 12 o'clock, and you're writing up to 12, first start the uploading process on the Invigilator app. You take pictures with the app, it guides you through how to do it. You start the uploading process, and then you come to myExams again, log in and submit your file for uploading. So remember, during this, if you also run into any problems, you can always contact the Invigilator support team on the WhatsApp number that they shared. But if you're having problems with myExams uploading, contact your relevant college with the exam inquiries. Also, the toll-free number that you can use, call them and they will assist you, guide you perhaps with alternative links for uploading. But once you have submitted, you are done. So please go and test out these apps beforehand. Play around with them a couple of times to make sure that you're familiar with them. So because in the end, they should be running in the background and your focus should be on answering your question paper. Thank you very much, Denzel.
Thanks very much, Richard, for that. So now, students, you've understood what are the required devices and the mock exams that Richard has now taken you through. I think this is quite important for you as you start to prepare yourself for the upcoming examinations. Please, and I can't stress this more, go through the mock exam, write an MCQ, do the full MCQ assessment with the Moodle proctoring tool, etc. If you're writing a take-home exam, do that with the Invigilator app. And we also have the Iris test site as well. This is where you will get the practice. This is where you make your mistakes. So when you are actually in your exam system, in your exam time, you would not lose time on these technical issues itself. At this time, we're going to go to the Student Support Contact Center. I just want to check quickly, Richard, do we have a representative from the Student Support Contact Center?
Cornelia, are you going to present?
Yes, Richard, I'm available.
Okay. Thanks,
Thank you,
Cornelia. Okay, thank you. Thanks, Cornelia. We have Cornelia from the Student Support Contact Center, and she's going to walk us through the support that is offered by Center. Thanks, Cornelia.
Thank you, Mr. Chetty. May I please share my screen? Thank you. Thank you so much. Good evening, students and colleagues. My name is Kwanele Bidla from Student Communication Center / Contact Center. We provide support to our students throughout the student walk. However, I will focus on exam-related inquiries. For effective and efficient assistance during exams, when engaging us for support, please do include the following: your student number, your contact details, a full description.
Cornelia, are you sharing your screen?
Yes, I am. Is it not?
Maybe just reshare quickly.
Okay, can you see something from your side?
Not yet. David, can you see something on your side?
No, not on my side as well.
Sure, what is the problem? I will go again.
Cornelia, can I maybe ask you to email that to Richard, and Richard can share it on his side. And while you do that, we'll take Mr. Pintius Nguna. Mr. Pintius Nguna, thank you. Sorry for putting you on the spot, but I wonder whether you could walk us through the support for students with special needs and what UNISA has in place for this. Thanks, Pintius.
Good evening, everyone. I'll open my camera just for a few minutes so that you can have a picture of the person who's presenting. Ladies and gentlemen, as mentioned by Dr. Chetty, my name is Pintius Nkuna from the Advocacy and Resource Center for Students with Disabilities, which is widely known as ARC Suite. The Advocacy and Resource Center for Students with Disabilities was established within the Department of Student Affairs just to provide for the wide range of needs for students with disabilities. Then here's a big question. Student, did you disclose your disability? I'm sure you are asking yourself, why am I asking this question? Then you'll get answers why I've asked this question. In terms of examination, I must say that the focus here will be only on exam support for students with disabilities, and the presentation will be shorter. Students with disabilities, it's important to know that you are not inferior to your fellow students without disabilities. It is important for students with disabilities to apply for special examination arrangements. This is not automatic. Even if the student discloses the disability at the point of registration, it's important for you to apply for special exam arrangements. Let me give you the reasons why. You may find that we have two students who present the same disability, only to find that their needs are different. One student may have acquired a disability earlier in life. The other one may have maybe acquired it recently. The other one were born with the disability. And I must say that students who does not disclose their disabilities may not receive reasonable accommodation in terms of the proctoring. We are also aware that students, there are those who are not aware of the services, even though then we had a series of orientation sessions whereby we're sensitizing all students. Part of the special examination arrangements, a student can apply for alternative assessments. When we talk about alternative assessment, it's whereby the student is unable to write exams online due to their disability. For instance, if there's a student who's complete quadriplegic, who cannot type, the student can apply for oral exams on Teams. And I must emphasize that it is important for students to use the MyLife email address because that's where we send the confirmation for your special examination arrangements. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll quickly show you how the form look like for when you apply for special exam arrangements. Let me quickly project the form. Yes, I hope you can see the form. This is the form that needs to be completed. Let me scroll down a bit. Yes, you specify and what is needed in terms of your support. What is most important is then the page 2 of this form, where it says which of the following assessment arrangements does the student require. If you say extra time, please specify the amount of time, as we'll be taking this to your physician to complete as well. Please specify, because if you don't specify the amount of time, you may be allocated only 10 minutes per hour. And then below there, that's where we need brief motivation on why does the student need special exam arrangements. I must say that this is important so that we ensure that you are reasonably accommodated. If we don't have this particular information, you may end up losing out on other services that the university provide. Going back to the presentation, then now that you've seen the form, then it is important that for those of you who did not disclose, please disclose. we encourage you not to consider disability, because if you don't disclose, then really we cannot provide a service, as we won't be aware of your individual needs. Even if there's 2 blind students, like I said earlier, their needs are completely different. We respect your rights to disclose or not to disclose, but please remember that whenever you decide not to disclose, then you won't be receiving the required support. Whether your disability is visible or invisible, when I talk about invisible disabilities, for instance, learning disabilities, dyslexia and the likes, those disabilities are not visible, but still those students are entitled to receive reasonable accommodation from the university. And we are also aware of students who say, no, I cannot disclose my disability because I fear stigmatization. I must say that whenever you disclose your disability, you'll receive the best support from the university, because you'll be aware of your individual needs. Let me emphasize, ladies and gentlemen, that the university also have staff members with different disabilities who understands your needs. Therefore, please feel free to disclose your individual needs. Now that you are aware, or you know about the service that we provide during exams, ladies and gentlemen, it is your responsibility now to request or to use this kind of service. Okay, I'll jump this because now then our focus is now on special examination arrangements. Then, if there's any inquiry that you have regarding services for students with disabilities, please contact us. We'll assist you. And regarding our examinations, my colleague Kwanele Bidla will give you more information about the exam inquiries, whereby you can receive immediate support whenever you come across a problem. And please test your devices before the exams, as my colleague Mr. Wright mentioned earlier. With these few words, ladies and gentlemen, I wish you all the best with your exams. Thank you.
Thank you very, very much, Pintius, for that, and for providing insights into how our students can get support, and also for the form that you went through as well. I think that's quite an important one for our students that need the special time as well. At this time, it's my pleasure to invite back to the platform Ms. Kwanele Bidla to continue. Richard, I see you've got the presentation now as well. Thanks.
Thank you, Denzel. Good evening again. Thank you. For effective and efficient assistance during your exams, when engaging us for support, please include your student number, your contact details, a full description of your challenge, and also, if possible, include the screen so that we can understand exactly the challenges that you are facing during your exam. May I please have the next slide, Richard? Thank you so much. SCSC operates via multiple point of entries. You can contact us during your exams using the number on the screen, which is 080-000-1870. And also we have email communication. We have inquire@unisa.ac.za for your general inquiries. And then for data queries, we have dataqueries@unisa.ac.za. We have Moodle support. The email address is there, mymoodle2022@unisa.ac.za. And then we have the specific one for this period, which is exam inquiries @unisa.ac.za. You can also communicate with us via chat. You can get that on our corporate page, and also Facebook and Twitter. Thank you, Richard. In line with the Protection of Personal Information Act, we request our students to communicate with us using the MyLife email account. And then we have the escalation process for the inquiries that are complex, that we are unable to actually resolve within our space. So we have the reporting line, which is Mrs. Habo, which is a supervisor for escalation. And then we have 2 managers based in the Florida campus as well as Pretoria. We have Mr. Gaga and we have Ms. Carol. Whenever we are unable to, resolve within the supervisor level, we then take it further. And also we have a team that is sitting within the institution, which is JOC. So we normally post all the challenges that we encounter, and they're actually able to assist us. And most of the challenges that we normally face, it is basically the fact that students do not familiarize themselves with all the processes that have been presented. So we kindly request that students kindly go through all the processes so that your exam will actually run smoothly. The only inquiries that we receive which are complex, it will be maybe if the server is down, we normally extend the time. So we always provide solutions for our students. Thank you so much. We wish you all, our students, the best with your May June 2023 assessment. Thank you, Richard.
Thanks so much for that, and also for the critical information that you've provided, specifically those contact details as well. Ladies and gentlemen, we're almost coming to the end of our program. I've got just Q&A session. We can't have an open Q&A session, but I just want to ask 2 of my colleagues, Dr. Ingrid Murray and Dr. Ramasheko, if there were any dominant questions that were on the platform, common questions that seem to be reoccurring. Let me check with Ingrid first. Ingrid?
Thank you. I think the main question that I picked up was students being uncertain about how to use the Invigilator app. And so I think students should really try and go to the mock exam and practice using the Invigilator app. And if they are having trouble, they need to contact the Invigilator app WhatsApp helpline that I will share just now. I think that was the most common question. And open book, what is it? Are students allowed to have their textbooks when they're writing? And the answer to that is, unless it is specifically stated that your exam is an open book exam, assume that it is closed book. And if it is open book, you need to check with your lecturer what books are allowed. Do not assume that you can use Google or any other online sources without confirmation from your lecturer. Thank you.
Thanks for that, Ingrid. Dr. S, anything common on your side that you found major? I see you doing a few replying as well.
Thank you so much, Dr. C, and good evening, colleagues. What I've seen now towards the end are students who are saying they are struggling to register with Invigilator app. I suggest that, Richard, we share the lookup link so that they are sure if their modules are going to be proctored with Invigilator app, because some students, they don't read their tutorial letters. You might find their modules are even going to be portfolios, and now they keep on trying to register Invigilator app. So I believe those might be some of the challenges. Hence, when we respond there, we say, please be sure that your module is going to be proctored. And again, students who are struggling to have MyLife email address, because that is key. If they communicate with their personal email addresses, they are going to be not helped at the end of the day. So it is important to make sure that they get assistance with that. And what I can advise also is try on your phone to download the Outlook app and try to log in there with your MyLife details. And failing which, please make sure that you install Microsoft 365, maybe on your device that you use, and go to the Outlook and make sure you log in with your MyLife email address. Thank you.
Thanks very much for that, Dr. S, and also for that critical point on knowing what proctoring tool is being used and what assessment or what exam format you are also scheduled for. I think those are important points that you mentioned. I see Richard has also posted the complete the post-assessment survey. Colleagues, these are students, these are very important because it helps us to understand what we need to focus on in the next sessions, where the gaps are. So please do take time to complete this quickly for us. It would actually help you. Now, as we're running up, it's exactly 8 p.m. We did excellent for time, and I want to thank my colleagues that have took the evening 2 hours off their evening time to provide the support for you. We also thank them, their families and commitment as well. But thank you, colleagues, for taking the time and providing the strategic support to our students at this particular time and preparing them for the upcoming examination. We also like to thank all our students that joined us. The numbers were fairly good. We had a good attendance for today, and we thank you for taking your time as well in this evening session and joining us. And we wish you all the best. Now, as I started off right at the beginning, I mentioned that tomorrow we will have our student blast sessions. Now, remember, student blast sessions are really an opportunity. We won't be doing the talking. We will literally be giving you an opportunity to ask your critical questions. So, for example, if you join the session and say, I really don't know what my examination proctoring tool is, we will be able to walk you through that and show you where you can find information on how you can do that. So it's a much more hands-on practical session based on your questions that you may have or concerns that you may have. And it's really to prepare you for the upcoming examination. Now, you will find that there are 2 links, Richard. If I'm right, there are two sessions, so you can join either one of it. Am I right, Richard?
Yes, Denzel. So the links have been posted in the chat. So there's blast session 1 that will be focusing on proctoring tools and assessment types. And then we've also got blast session 2 where you can get some skills in academic integrity and also assessment skills. So if you know you're going to be writing, for instance, a multiple choice or an essay and you don't really know how to approach it to make get the best result, definitely join that session 2 as well, where they will be sharing some tips on how to approach different types of assessment questions. Thank you, Renzo.
Thanks, Richard. So if you find that tomorrow you may have a question with proctoring tool and you may have a question with assessment formats, you can always jump in and out of both sessions, right? So you can jump into the first session, ask your question, and then jump into the second session. Please do join us tomorrow. Make use of these sessions. The colleagues are a group of experts. They are academics, plus they are support staff, plus they are technical staff. So you really have the best of support, the best of knowledge to walk you through some of these challenges that you may have. From our side, we wish you all the best. As you prepare for the upcoming examination, please take your time, prepare. It's that part of the year where you really have the best opportunity to really do well. So please take your time, take your time off to study, prepare for the upcoming examination, and go into the examinations confident that you can do well in this. From our side and the rest of the group side, all we need to say now is the rest of you, good night and have a blessed evening. We will see you tomorrow in the blast sessions. Thank you, colleagues. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.